Hey, you guys, welcome back to my channel. Sunday, this past Sunday, Britney Spears posted a 22-minute like mini tell-all clip to her YouTube channel. She ended up deleting this clip, but of course, a lot of people were able to capture it. I don't know why. I was happy when I heard that she posted it. I wish she wouldn't have deleted it, but I do understand why she deletes it. I feel like she goes back and forth with if she should tell her story. I feel like she struggles with, maybe telling her story so she can get her story out there. And if anybody is dealing with being taken advantage of or anything like that, maybe that's why she wants to tell her story. So she puts this clip out there and she ends up deleting it, but a lot of people were able to record it. So it's everywhere on the internet. I listened to it last night and I just thought, I really want to listen to this on my channel so we can kind of talk about this and go over what she's saying. As you guys know, Britney Spears was in a conservatorship for over 10 years. It was like 13 years. She was put in this conservatorship when she was like in her 20s. It lasted until she was well into her 30s. It was very strict. She was not able to have control over her money. She couldn't even have a cell phone at times. She was not allowed to smoke cigarettes. She was not allowed to take her birth control out whenever she met Sam a few years after they had been together. She wanted to get married. She wanted to have babies, and she was not allowed to do those things because her father would not allow her to do those things. I remember when I watched the docu-series, the little docu-series about Britney Spears, how um, they showed a clip of a meeting where everyone that was like on Britney's team was in this meeting and they were trying to set her schedule for the Las Vegas residency that was coming up. From my understanding, from what if memory serves me correctly, this is what they were doing. And her dad was there, and like her assistant was there, and everyone was there trying to come up with this schedule. And they put her to work for like these 2 days, and her assistant said, well, that's the weekend that she's going to have her kids, and so we don't need to schedule her to be working on those 2 days so she can spend that time with her kids. And her dad said, it's okay, I'll get the boys, she needs to work. Which that right there was something that did not sit well with me, because as a mother, and Britney Spears did not have custody of her children, like full custody. The children lived with her father, Kevin. So when she got those days for her children, it wasn't a matter of like, oh, well, there's just somebody needs to watch them. It was a matter of her getting to see her children. And Jamie stepped right in. Her father stepped right in and said, schedule her to work. I will get the boys. That right there, right off the cuff, told me something's not right. If he cares more about her working than spending time with her children and bonding with her children, that shows you where his priorities were, right? Because she already, like most mothers, raise their children. They have a very close relationship, like, and it's getting different, but, most of the time it's like moms are stay at home, or they're more like involved because the dads are like off working. Like a lot of men work like offshore or where they're gone a lot. So like a lot of times it's the mothers that have that more of a bond with their children. Not that fathers don't have bonds, because they do. My husband has a really close bond with our children, but I'm just saying, so she already did not get to see the boys the way that she needed to because they lived with their father. And then when she was getting visitation, her father would say, no, I'll get the kids and she can go ahead and work. That's the recording that we're going to listen to right now, Frenda. The one that I think it's the same one that Sloan put out. Everybody's kind of talking about it right now. I think it's very important that we listen to it. In this audio, I definitely feel like Britney Spears, she keeps saying, like, I didn't understand. I was really confused. And I really do feel like she was absolutely confused, and she really did not understand why these things were happening to her. Hey, everyone in the chat. Everyone's coming in to saying hello. Hey, you guys. So, I will say this. I don't think Britney Spears is like 100% well. I think there's no way that she could be, after everything that she went through. I feel like Britney Spears is stuck in, I feel like this happens with a lot of like famous people that get famous when they're younger. They get stuck at like this age almost. She still has like that kind of baby voice when she speaks, and they just don't really mature like you're supposed to, because you have this whole different world. You have this whole different experience in life. So I definitely think there's a difference here, with I don't want to go off to say that she needs to be in a conservatorship. I'm not saying that. I don't think Britney Spears needs to be in a like 100% conservatorship, and something like that. I do think she needs someone there that she can trust. They can kind of help her overlook things, just because she has been like traumatized so much and just lived such an abnormal life that I don't think she could live a normal life at this point, even if she, wanted to. So we're going to listen to this audio that she put out. This is a 22-minute clip that she recorded herself, and it sounds like she recorded it at different days. Like it sounds like she just got up one morning and thought, I want to talk. So she started talking into her little voice audio, right? Then it seems like she just would stop, and then maybe the next day pick it up again. The audio definitely changes. There's a couple times where it kind of drops super low. So that is the audio that she recorded. It's not my audio. I just want to let you guys know. It's going to be really quickly though. So when you guys hear it, before you can type, I can't hear. It will be coming right back. So I do want to just let you guys know that when the audio kind of dips out, it'll come right back. There's just a few spots where you can't really hear it that well. But like I said, it seems like she did this over a period of days. She uploads it and then takes it down, and then her mom responds. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to listen to it. Like I said, it's a 22-minute clip. So we're going to be listening to it for 22 minutes, and then we're going to discuss. So let's go ahead and let's listen to it.
Okay, so I woke up this morning and I realized that there's a lot going on in my head that I haven't really shared with anyone really. And I've had tons of opportunities, Oprah, interviews,
Whoops, I just hit the wrong button. Hold on, you guys. Sorry.
views, to go.
So, okay, I want to pause there because she does say that she's had plenty of opportunities. She said offers to go on huge TV shows like Oprah, and she declines. And she's going to explain why she declines. I'm going to back it up a little bit because I accidentally hit the wrong button.
Tons of opportunities, Oprah, interviews, to go on a platform and share hardships or just really anything that's going on in my mind, and I really don't think any of that is relevant to getting paid to tell your story. I feel like it's kind of silly. So I'm here honestly just to open myself to others and try to shed a light on if anyone out there has ever gone through hardships or whatever it is, just to put a light on it, and so that person doesn't feel alone, because I really know what that feels like.
She does curse, so warning, language warning. If you guys are listening around your children, you guys may want to put in headphones. I want to go ahead and pause it right there because someone in the chat reminded me that her language is kind of, so beware. Let's get back into it.
I haven't honestly shared this openly too as well, because I've always been scared of the judgment and definitely the embarrassment of the whole thing period, and the skepticism and the cynical people of what and their opinions of what people would actually think. I do think I'm in a place now where I'm a little bit more confident that I can be willing to share openly my thoughts and what I've been through, because I haven't really had that outlet to share completely openly for so long, just scared of judgments, thoughts of other people and what they think or what they may say. And I think it's crucial for my heart and my head to be able to speak openly about it as if anyone else would. Well, the actual conservatorship actually started, I think, 15 to 16 years ago. I was 25 when it started. I was extremely young. I remember a lot of my friends texting me and calling me, and we were extremely close, and they wanted to see me, but what had happened, honestly, still to this day.
Hold on, you guys. It paused. Give me a second. I'm so sorry.
But the punishment out there has ever gone.
I'm so sorry. That went to the wrong one. Let me bring it back. Y'all know there's always going to be at least one thing that goes wrong. Let me start it back. I'm so sorry.
through hardships or whatever it is, just to put a light on it, and so that person doesn't feel alone, because I really know what that feels like.
Were we here yet? I'm going to go ahead and start it back over
I
because
wasn't able to. Okay, so I woke up this morning and I realized that there's a lot going on in my head that I haven't really shared with anyone really. And I've had tons of opportunities, Oprah, interviews, to go on a platform and share hardships or just really anything that's going on in my mind, and I really don't think any of that is relevant to getting paid to tell your story. I feel like it's kind of silly. So um, I'm here honestly just to open myself to others and try to shed a light on if anyone out there has ever gone through hardships or whatever it is, just to put a light on it, and so that person doesn't feel alone, because I really know what that feels like. I haven't honestly shared this openly too as well, because I've always been scared of the judgment and definitely the embarrassment of the whole thing, period, and the skepticism and the cynical people of what and their opinions of what people would actually think. I do think I'm in a place now where I'm a little bit more confident that I can be willing to share openly my thoughts and what I've been through, because I haven't really had that outlet to share completely openly for so long, just scared of judgments, thoughts of other people and what they think or what they may say. And I think it's crucial for my heart and my head to be able to speak openly about it as if anyone else would. Well, the actual conservatorship actually started, I think, 15 to 16 years ago. I was 25 when it started. I was extremely young. I remember a lot of my friends texting me and calling me, and we were extremely close, and they wanted to see me, but what had happened, I honestly still to this day don't know what really I did, but the punishment of my father, I wasn't able to, see anyone or like anything. So you have to imagine none of it made sense to me. I literally spoke in a British accent to a doctor to prescribe my medication, and 3 days later, there was a swap team in my home, 3 helicopters, and I remember my mom's best friend and my 2 girlfriends. We had a sleepover the night before. They held me down on a gurner, and again, none of it made sense. Literally, the extent of my madness was playing chess with, it was playing chase with paparazzi, um, which is still to this day one of the most fun things I ever did about being famous. So I don't know what was so harmful about that. But I remember my mom was sitting on the couch and she said, "We've heard people are coming here today to talk to you. We should probably go, to a hotel or something." And I never really understood what she meant. I didn't believe her. Like, as a lawyer coming here, who is coming here? Then 4 hours later, there were over 200 paparazzi outside my house videotaping me through a window of an ambulance, holding me down on a gurner. I know now it was all premeditated. A woman introduced the idea to my dad, and my mom actually helped him follow through and made it all happen. It was all basically set up. There was no drugs in my system, no alcohol, nothing. It was pure abuse. And I haven't even really shared even half of it. I think the main thing I do remember when I started was my dad's control. He loved to control everything I did. I remember the first day he said, "I'm Britney Spears and I'm calling the shots." And I'm like, alrighty then. My brother was a football player. My dad was really, really hard on him when he was younger. Really abusive. And I think when my mom gave him the idea for the conservatorship and his friend, I think he just really regrouped it and made such a really, really overhauling big deal out of it, and it was just really too much. I remember him always being in the office, and my girlfriend was his assistant, and they would just stay my first job after the 2 weeks of being hospitalized and completely traumatized out of my mind. I did a TV show called How I Met Your Mother, and then I started working on an album called Circus, and started working away right away. All I do remember is I had to do what I was told. I was told I was fat every day. I had to go to the gym. I had to just, and I never remember feeling so demoralized and just, they made me feel like nothing. And I went along with it because I was scared. I was scared and fearful. I didn't even really do anything. And I had like a swap team and how, like, none of it made sense to me. So, since that day, I did probably 4.5 tours. I did an album Circus, Femme Fatale, Britney, Jean, and Glory. And then I started doing a Vegas show in Las Vegas, and I did that for 4.5 years. I do remember working, and I got to a point where, because my pride in my 30s, I have to live under my father's rules, and, the dancers are playing and drinking and having fun at nights in Vegas, and I couldn't do anything. And I remember just being like, my performances, I know, were horrible. Like, I even wore wigs, and all the dancers were doing all these nice, sexy head flip turns, and I had conditioner treatment in my hair, and like these little caps over my head, and just during the whole show getting conditioner treatments just with wigs on, because I was just like a robot. Honestly, I didn't give a fuck anymore, because I couldn't go where I wanted to go. I couldn't have the nannies that I wanted to have. I couldn't have cash. And it was just demoralizing. So I was kind of like in this conspiracy thing of people claiming and like treating me like a superstar, but yet they treated me like nothing. Well, for some reason, I started to get a spark back. I remember recording Glory, and for some reason, I think producing and making music. And I went to this little Spanish house, and I got the fire back in my eyes for some reason. And it was at the end of recording Glory, and my son named it, and things started kind of taking a turn because I started getting more confidence just for myself. And I think with confidence, people kind of like, oh wait, what's going on now? Like, she's speaking up a little bit more, but it might not be particularly a good thing if I've been quiet for 15 years. I think with confidence comes enlightenment, which makes you think better. And that's the last thing they wanted me to do, was to actually be better. Because then, who would be in control then? But it was really tricky because I had to just play this role that everything was okay all the time. And I had to go along with it because I knew they could hurt me. So I'm sitting here, like, my friends all drinking alcohol and having fun at these parties, and had no cash. I literally felt like a nun. My girlfriends from home came to visit me in a spa, and I couldn't even walk into the spa. And they had their feet doing pedicures in the water, and the 3 ices of bottles of champagnes before my show, just sitting there. And I wasn't even acknowledged by them, my own hometown friends, when they would come to Vegas. And it was demoralizing, I will say. You also have to understand, it's like, 15 years of touring and doing shows, and I'm 30 years old under my dad's rules. And all of this is going on, and my mom's witnessing this, and my brother is witnessing, and my friends are witnessing it, and they all go along with it. And I'm like, how am I the one working here and doing all this, but I don't get the side things that, the good stuff, I want to be able to play. I want to be able to have fun. Like, none of it made sense to me. Well, the last show in Vegas ended 2000, I think 17. I went on tour, which a tour I was forced to do, but I was supposed to do a new show. So the new show came along. I rehearsed, I think, maybe 4 days ago. I don't really remember, but I went to one of the rehearsals, and I said no to a dance move. I was like, no, can we do that? I don't want to do this. And then I just remember everything got really weird and quiet, and all the directors and producers went in the back room and just spoke. And that was it. And I was like, well, I don't know what's going on. So we all just kind of like, what happened? And the next day, I was told that had to be sent away to a facility, and that I was supposed to say on my Instagram the reason why is because my dad is sick and I need treatment, which was I didn't want to ever go there. I remember my dad calling me on the phone and I was crying, and I was like, why are you guys doing this? Like, what? And I just remember him saying, it's like, listen to the doctors. The doctor.
Okay, so I told you guys it gets really low. Every recording that I could find was this low. I think it was just like her, the way that she recorded it. But she's basically saying she was on the phone with her dad, and he's telling her, "You have to go. You have to go."
Are going to tell you what to do. I can't help you now.
And he said those the doctors and the nurses are going to tell you what to do. I can't help you. I think it's about to pick back up though.
And I remember his last words were, now, you don't have to go. But if you don't go, we're going to go to court and there'll be a big trial and you're going to lose.
Okay, so he told her, he said, well, you don't have to go, but if you do go, no, he said, well, you don't have to go, but if you don't go, we're going to go to trial. It's going to be this huge deal and you're going to lose. So basically, it was like, you do have to go. You don't have to go, but if you don't go, we're going to go to trial. You're going to lose because you don't have money for lawyers. Yeah, you guys, I'm so sorry. In the beginning of the video, when I first went live, I kind of put out a little PSA that the audio is just not well. It goes in and out though. It picks back up in a minute, but there's times that it seemed like Britney must have been holding the phone close to her chest or maybe laying on her bed or something because it's muffled. I cannot find any. I've listened to this several times on different channels and different things to see if there's like if it was just like one particular video recording that had this, and it's every one of them. So I think it was her audio, but it does pick back up if you're just coming in at the beginning. You could hear it better. It's going to go through this like little moment where you can't hear that well, but it does pick back up. So she's basically saying before she went, she was told, get on your Instagram, tell him that your dad is sick and that you got to go away to treatment. And she didn't want to go. So her dad called her and she was crying and she was like, why are you guys doing this? And he said, you have to go. I can't help you. You have to listen to the doctors. And he goes, well, you don't have to go, but if you don't go, it's going to be a big trial and you're going to lose because you don't have attorneys. Thank you so much, Jessica. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you.
I have way more people on my side than you. You don't even have a lawyer, so they don't even. So I did it. I went to the place. I was scared out of my mind.
So that last thing was. Yeah, I think she. I think she had her hand over the speaker or something. So the last thing was. Let me rewind it because I don't forgot. Hold on.
It's like what? And I just remember him saying, "It's like, listen to the doctors. The doctors are going to tell you what to do. I can't help you now." And I remember his last words were, "Now you don't have to go, but if you don't go, we're going to go to court and there'll be a big trial and you're going to lose. I have way more people on my side than you. You don't even have a lawyer, so they don't even think about it." So I did it. I went to the place. I was scared out of my mind. And none of it, again, made any sense of what they were doing to me. And again, I haven't wanted to share this because it's unbelievably offensive, sad, abusive, and honestly, would anybody believe me? I remember the main thing of when I was in that place that my heart felt like it was frozen, like it was stuck inside and I wanted to scream and I wanted to get out. And I think by a needle and thread, it was the breathing peacefully inward that I missed the most. I felt like I was in a state of shock, almost like when an old person feels helpless and they're literally going through some sort of shock treatment and they can't relax their body because they don't have the answers of why they can't have their own keys to their car and put it in the ignition and walk outside, and their own security guards at every door saying they can't go, sitting down, drawing 6 galls of blood every week, weak as hell, and then calling, and my family is in Destin at my beach house. It didn't make sense. thing. I to this day, I kind of stopped believing in God at that time because I didn't know how they could have 40 people leave my house a day and me work from 8 to 6 at night. Be seen changed every time I changed in the shower. No privacy, no door, nothing. How did they get away with it? And what the fuck did I do to deserve that? I couldn't even smoke cigarettes. People on death row can smoke cigarettes. I missed my AA meetings, although I was kind of forced to go to AA, and I'm not even an alcoholic. I actually enjoyed it because I thought the people were brilliant. They shared their stories, just to share their story, and in a circle of women and men who just are trying to be better people and trying to touch other people. I missed my AA meetings. I couldn't go any. I couldn't have the keys in my car, no cash, no cigarettes, no door for privacy. It changed me, watched me change naked every day. I did work 7 days a week. No weekends were off. They monitored what I ate. From 8 to 6 I work. Sometimes at 9 o'clock I'd be able to watch a movie. But finally the owner of the whole facility that I was always texting to try to be able to go somewhere, just get out of the house, that place somehow, he had to let me go because the Free Britney campaign came out with all the pink t-shirts. I saw it on a lot of the morning shows, and people by word of mouth, and I think just by my fans knowing by heart that something was up. I remember one of the guys were on an interview on the street, and he said, you know what, I could be totally wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll be really, really embarrassed, and I'll just go have a drink somewhere. He said, but I do feel like they're doing something to her right now, and I'm not sure really what it is, but that's what my heart says. But the whole thing that made it really confusing for me is these people are on the street fighting for me, but my sister and my mother aren't doing anything. To me, it was like they secretly, honestly liked me being the bad one, like I was messed up, and they kind of just liked it that way. Otherwise, why weren't they outside my doorstep saying, baby girl, get in the car, let's go? I think that's the main thing that hurt me. I couldn't process how my family went along with it for so long. And, I mean, almost half a year, you know? And their only response was, we didn't know. I'm like, I'm on the phone telling you right now, I'm here, please. Eventually, by the grace of God, and praying on my knees, I left the place. But I was still scared. I was really, really scared. And from then on, I had support. I needed a lot of support. And I found two really, really great people that would come to my house weekly and just help me with my mind, because I didn't understand all the therapy that I had to do there. But why have therapy when it's forced and in like a militant, almost prison-like way that like is where you're not even all there, and none of it made sense. Well, I think my strength grew because I didn't reach out to my dad anymore. And they were playing the game of ball and twist of, she's going to come running back to us because, we've scared her and we're the bosses here. But I didn't. I just stalled. And I stalled and I stalled and I stalled. And finally, I think they just knew I wasn't going back. And I finally got a lawyer. A wonderful friend finally got me a lawyer. And he really helped me through it. To me, the thing was, I think the trauma of all of it and just the whole thing together and going down to how much effort and work and heart I put in to what I did when I did work, even down to the details of how many rhinestones are going to be in my costume. And I cared so much. And they literally killed me. They threw me away. That's what I felt like my family threw me away. I was performing for like thousands of people at night in Vegas, the rush of being a performer, the laughter, the joy, the respect. I was shaking over 40 people's hands every night before a show, training weekly, 3 training sessions a week, AA meetings, therapy sessions, My dad literally, I was a machine. I was a fucking machine. Not even human, almost. It was insane how hard I worked. And the one time I speak up and say no in the rehearsals to a fucking dance move, they got pissed. I feel like the scare tactic and how badly they treated me in the end, I think they thought I was going to come begging back to work again because they thought, I needed them. Because they put me in an ignorant, scared state of mind to make me feel like I needed them. And if you don't do what we say, we're going to show you who's boss. I didn't play their game anymore. I got on my knees every day and I prayed. I held on like a needle and thread to some sort of existence because they had made me feel like nothing for so long. I knew in the deepest, deepest part of my core, I knew I'd done nothing wrong and I didn't deserve the way I'd been treated. I do think the hardest thing for me was I wanted to use my feet and leave and run or go somewhere. I had to be placed in a chair from like 8 to 6 every day. I couldn't take it. I talked to rabbis, I've talked to grown men about it, and they're like, we don't see how you did it. Honestly, I don't either. And through that, I remember saying, I don't believe in God anymore. I honestly deserve an award for acting like I was okay every day. I thought they were trying to fucking kill me. I remember one time I was backstage and I needed my inhaler. And I opened up to my assistant because I had my phone with me, which I'm not supposed to have my phone underneath the stage. But I said to her, you know what I'm doing. I was talking to a guy and he wanted to just leave the country with me. We had it all set up to just leave. And it was a secret relationship. And I said, my biggest fear was, what would my dad do if I did do something wrong? What if I left the country? What if they found me? And what would they do? And I said, I feel like they would lock me up or something or really hurt me. And she looked at me and she said, are you kidding me, Britney? Your dad would never do that to you. And I didn't even do anything wrong, and he still did it. I'm honestly more angry at my mom because I heard when reporters would call her at the time and ask questions of what was going on, she would go innocently hide in the house, and she wouldn't speak up. It was always like, I don't know what to say. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. We're praying for her. I feel like she could have gotten me a lawyer in literally 2 seconds. My friend helped me get one in the end, but every time I made contact with a firm, my phone was tapped, and they would take my phone away from me. And again, I get nothing out of sharing all of this. I have offers to do interviews with Oprah and so many people, lots and lots of money, but it's insane. I don't want any of it. For me, it's beyond a sit-down, proper interview. I had no contact in that place for so long, and my heart would just want to stand up in my family's faces and scream and cry and throw a tantrum and go back in time and do exactly what I wanted to do at those times. Yeah, and might even spit in their fucking faces. Why? Because the pain my family gave me, sitting me there all day and not being able to use my feet, as they watch their grandchildren run bases to base in a family neighborhood, as if I'm dead or I don't exist, honestly makes me look up and say, how the fuck did they get away with it? How is there a God? Is there a God? Giving 8 galls of blood weekly, not being able to stand up. I was so weak. And my family's at my beach house. I was scared, broken. I'm sharing this because I want people to know I'm only human. I do feel victimized after these experiences, and how can I mend this if I don't talk about it? I have an amazing song right now with one of the most brilliant men of our time, and I'm so grateful. But if you're a weird introvert, oddball like me, who feels alone a lot of the time, and you needed to hear a story like this today so you don't feel alone, know this: my life
Okay, you guys. So that was it. It was about 22 minutes long. Like I said, I'm very sorry about the audio. That's what it was at certain times. Like someone said in the chat, I think she had her hand over like the speaker because it would literally just go in and out, in and out. So the audio, I had it up as loud as I could get it, and everywhere that I looked, it was not any better. She has two siblings. She has Jamie Lynn, her sister, and then she has a brother. Her brother stayed out of the spotlight for the most part. Um, Brian, I think was her brother's name. Uh, in that audio, she talks about like her how her dad was really kind of mean to Brian when they would play football. That he was a football player, and her dad was like really mean to him. This is her and her brother, which she too says that she basically her brother basically didn't do anything for her either. That nobody stepped up to help her. This is her and her brother years ago. He looks more like the dad. Brian does. Brian looks more like their father. Um, so I took a few notes, and there's a few things that I kind of want to touch on from what she said. So there was a couple of things that I noticed. One thing that she said is she said she hasn't had an outlet to where she could really share her experience on. She hasn't had an outlet, which made me feel, because I'm like, Instagram? So does she still not have like complete control over what she can post on Instagram? Mind you, this video, or it was audio that was posted on her YouTube, like her YouTube channel, and then was deleted not long afterwards, which makes me feel like maybe there's still some sort of control there, because she says she didn't have an outlet to share this on. But she has her Instagram. So I just really, then it kind of got me wondering, like, well, she posted it on YouTube after she recorded it into her phone throughout the course of a few days. You know what I'm saying? And then she uploaded it to YouTube, then removed it. She also talks about how she had offers to get paid a lot of money to go on Oprah and other media outlets, and she didn't take that. And she said it's silly to be paid for her story, in her opinion, which, you know, she doesn't care about the money. I mean, honestly, Britney could probably make a cool meal easy off this story. Like if she went on Oprah, I'm sure she could make $1 million at least to do Oprah or 2020. And she knows that. She knows she can make a lot of money to do it, but she doesn't care. I think she's got to the point. She worked so hard, and like her money took care of so many people, but yet she didn't get to enjoy it. And now she is getting to enjoy it a little bit. That the money is not important to her. She wants to be able to tell her story on her terms, which is what I think she should do. Also, when you go to outlets like Oprah in 2020, they still can choose the narrative. They can clip things. Oprah can ask questions, and they can rearrange the responses, or they can rearrange her facial expressions to maybe a facial expression that was made, 5 minutes earlier or 10 minutes earlier. So there's just I'm so glad that Britney has the, I don't think she is 100% like, okay, so to say. I don't. Like, I do think there's some, like, I don't want to say immaturity. I just feel like she didn't get past a certain point of growth due to being in the spotlight. Um, she didn't live a normal life. She didn't grow into a normal adult. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. I just say, like, I'm just saying, like, her mental space, like where she is mentally, is not where I definitely think she's smart, because the fact that she wouldn't go on Oprah or 2020 knowing she could make bank off of it tells me there that, like, she knew. And also she talks about how she accepted things and she like kind of went along with things just to keep things good and golden. You know what I'm saying? But when she finally got to where she was like, okay, nothing's gonna happen. I'm not, yeah, and it's not her fault that she's been through all this trauma. Yeah, there's no way she could be 100% okay after everything that she was put through. Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think she's like just okay, because usually when I cover Britney, I have somebody, leave me a comment saying she's not okay. Like, you understand mentally she's not okay. And I'm like, no, 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 I know that. But I don't think she's to the point where she needed a conservator like her father and no ability to do anything. A few things that she said she wasn't able to do, right? So she wasn't allowed to hang out with friends. She wasn't allowed to have access to her money. She wasn't allowed to choose the nannies for her children. At 30 years old, she was under her father's rules. Um, in rehearsals, she could not change things up. She had to go with what choreography was put out there. She couldn't even say, "Can we not do this?" Um, her own security guards, people that she paid, mind you, which it wasn't like she was signing their checks because she wasn't allowed to touch anything. But these were people that her hard earned money paid them to do what they were doing, and her security guards at her house would not allow her outside. If she tried to go out, they would stop her and tell her no. Um, her a friend of hers ended up having to get her an attorney because her phones were tapped. Anytime she would try to put out calls to speak to someone about an attorney, uh, she would get in trouble. So that tells you there, just like she had no control over anything. Anything in her life, she had no control. Um, she talks about how her dad, she was a machine, basically. She was a machine. She said, I shook over 40 hands each night before I went on stage. I went on stage. I put on this performance where I wasn't happy. It probably wasn't even that great because I wasn't that happy. And then, she says, I was a machine. I was a machine. And she was. And when she said that, it took me back to that documentary of hers about her, where they're in there and they're making her schedule. And her dad says she needs to work this weekend. And the assistant says, no, she's going to have her kids that weekend. And her dad says, no, I'll get the kids. She can work. He used her as a money making machine with absolutely no, in my opinion, with absolutely no care for her life. And the fact that, at this point, she was in that conservatorship. I thought it was like 13 years, but I think she said more like 15 years. All of that time of her life, she will never get back. All of those things was taken from her. She was unable, in my opinion, to build a bond with her children, that she will never be able to fix that. You know what I'm saying? And from what I looking back, it really does feel like because I was a Britney Spears fan, like her and NSYNC was like my people. I'm not gonna lie, I was a huge Britney Spears and NSYNC fan, and she got into this relationship with Kevin Federline where everything seemed great. I mean, she kind of was changing her image up to where she wasn't just like at first she was, goody 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 girl, claimed to be a virgin, which we found out later that she wasn't. But I'm not. That's her. Like the fact that her sexual life, her sex life was even questioned when she was like 17 years old. They were asking her, "Are you a virgin?" That was completely inappropriate that people even asked that. But her life, her image kind of started shifting just a little bit when she, her and Justin broke up and these allegations of cheating came out, and then she got with Kevin, and then we got to see kind of like a somewhat of like a different side of Britney. She started smoking cigarettes, walking around with no shoes on, and then they got pregnant, and their wedding was a little bit on the um I don't want to say trashy side, but just different, like a little less on the classy side. Like they had these like robes, which I whatever, that said like um I feel like his bride's groomsman's robe said something about like pimp or something. I don't even remember. Um it was really like the wedding was just kind of like a little bit different. It was more on like a different side of Britney. Anyways, when she was dating him, they did that little reality show that was called Chaotic or something like that. And, she opened up about her sex life then with the man, though, that she had married, which is a little bit different. And then they get, they have these babies and then they break up. And y'all, after they separate and she's a fairly new mom, she has the two boys almost back to back, pretty close together. And I mean, when she's pregnant, she's just, I mean, the media is on her worse than it's ever been. After she has the babies and they split up, media is on her worse than they've ever been. And she can't do anything. She's out to eat dinner and she's got her children and, in there, and the media is just out there taking pictures, taking pictures. I remember there was these photos that came out of her crying in there eating dinner and she's holding one of her babies and she's crying. And because she had been attacked so much in the media about what type of mom she was, and she was dealing with postpartum depression, if memory serves me correctly. And then there was a video where she was caught, holding one of the babies as she drove, and she got attacked really bad for that, which that's not a good thing to do. And she did explain, she said, listen, I live in Louisiana where it's back roads and you do that. And I'm not going to lie. I grew up like that too. Like literally growing up, like my aunt and my stepdad would like put us on his knee and on her knee and we would drive the back roads around my granny's house. It is kind of like something that, but still out and about in the city like LA, but she's got so much heat and it just, oh, if you listen to Paris Hilton, who was close to Britney, she says how paparazzi really went too far every time. Yeah, I feel like they did. She was a young mom living a life under a microscope, and she just got attacked for everything that she did wrong. And even if it wasn't wrong, it was just kind of nitpicked. So I feel like she kind of went a little crazy, but who wouldn't have? Who would not have went a little crazy? I would have. And that was just completely used against her. In the audio, she says a woman introduced this to her mom, like the conservatorship, and then her dad took it just to like a new level. When he realized that he could get complete control, that's what he wanted. And he told her, he says, I'm Britney Spears. Hey, y'all, I'm wondering why Britney doesn't go on Paris Hilton podcast to talk about it all. I don't know. I wish she would. I think maybe her main concern, and this is what I got from listening to the clip, is I think she wants to put it out somewhere where she has all control. Because if she goes on Oprah or 2020 or maybe even Paris Hilton podcast, you have editors. Everybody has an editor and they want it to seem the most dramatic. And so I feel like maybe she's concerned with it being twisted any little way that she doesn't want it to be. So I just feel like she wants to control her narrative from now on out. In my opinion, that's why she's not doing this anywhere else. And she wants to be able to delete it if she decides later on, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Let me take that off. And she'll have that control to do that. So, she talks about how there was two really good people who came to help her with her mind because she was really confused as to what was happening. So I guess that the people that she's talking about, maybe it's like counselors, maybe. But she even says that the reason she didn't speak out is because she was worried that people wouldn't believe her. And if you're Britney Spears, like mega famous, and you're going through that, but Paris Hilton, the same thing happened with Paris, the Provost School. Neither one of them would speak out because they were worried that they would not be believed. The whole world, or they were painted to just, Britney Spears was painted to just be kind of going crazy, off the deep end. And Paris Hilton was painted just to be this bad, terrible girl that didn't listen and blah, 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 blah. When really they had these stories of what they were going through and how they were being mistreated, and they were terrified that if they spoke up that they would not be believed. Also, she kept saying, like, galls of blood. She's like, 6 galls of blood, 8 galls of blood. What she meant was vials. She did clear that up on Twitter. And she was like, I didn't mean gallons, I meant vials. So her mom did respond. And actually, when I was getting ready for this, I saw the articles where her mom responded. And it says, Britney Spears' mother, Lynn, has broken her silence amid an ongoing feud. I'll be right out, buddy. I'm almost done. between the pop star and her entire immediate family. On Sunday, the Hold Me Closer singer shared a now deleted bombshell YouTube audio clip in which she stated that she felt abandoned by her mother during her 13-year conservatorship. So on Instagram, Lynn posted, Britney, your whole life, I've tried my best to support your dreams and wishes. And it features a black and white photo of Britney and her mom in happier times, the two smiling. She said, and also, I've tried my best to help you out of hardships. I have never and will never turn my back on you. Um, your rejection to the countless times I've flown out and calls make me feel hopeless. I have tried everything. She concluded, I love you so much, but this talk is for you and me only, eye to eye. So, I mean, Brittany in the audio said, I heard when reporters would call mom at the time and ask her questions of what was going on, she would innocently hide in the house and wouldn't speak up. She also said, that the first idea was brought to her mom by some female, and her mom kind of went to the dad about it, and then the dad made it into like what it was, what it became. Maybe it was not this huge take over everything and not let her have access to anything, but more maybe not as that extreme. Because she said, it was a woman that came up with this idea that went to my mom with it, and then my mom told my dad about it, and my dad just made it super extreme. She also talks about when she was in the facility calling her mom crying, and they were at her beach house. When she's in a mental institution, sitting in a chair from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening, getting her blood drawn and given all this medication where she's out of her mind half the time. Her family's having a happy-go-lucky time at her beach house. My thing is, like, if this was my child, I couldn't go on a vacation and be happy, especially in the house that my daughter is paying for, when my daughter is in a mental institution. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I would be sitting around, waiting for my child to call to say, baby, what do we need to do? Like, what is it going to take? Like, you know what I'm saying? I would be talking to the doctors myself. Like, I would be hiring the best of the best. Like, maybe the dad's hiring doctors, but if I felt like the dad was up to some shady business, I'd hire my own doctors. And like Brittany said, my mom could hire me a lawyer, but she was like in on it essentially. She was fine with it being the way that it was. Everybody was profiting off Brittany being controlled. Once Brittany took, if Brittany was to take over control, they wouldn't have as much access to the money that they had. Because she wasn't, I don't think she would do that. I don't think she would just completely take care of everybody 100,000%. I think at first she was, helping them. I mean, she bought her mom a house in Louisiana. I think she bought her sister a house. I think she bought her brother a house. But I don't think it would have continued for the rest of her life to such an extent that it did. Like, especially her father and her little sister. All in my opinion, of course. So this audio was, I think, once again, it just makes me understand how much control they really had, how much they definitely wanted to make her seem like she was crazy. And like I said, I think there's an issue here, but I don't think it was to the point to where, and maybe if it ever comes out that I'm wrong and Britney really needed a conservatorship, then I'll eat my words and say that I was wrong. But in my opinion, I don't think it needed to be that extent. And even if it did need to be to that extent, someone can completely over her everything. The way that they spent her money was not okay. You know what I'm saying? The money that was being spent, the dad hiring lawyers for himself and using Britney's money to pay for his own attorneys. Jamie Lynn has Disney money. She should be fine. I don't know if she still does though. Jamie Lynn does work now. But I don't know because she was on that Zoe 101 for a couple of years and then she got pregnant. But I don't know if she was like making bank off that. She bought her mama's house to get a divorce, Jamie, which she did, but then still had him in the house. So I feel like this was an interesting audio to listen to, and like I said, you could tell it was taking over the course of a few days. It seemed like to me like anytime she felt like, oh, I need to talk about this, she would go out somewhere and talk about it. Was she on the reboot? Was she on the reboot? Because I didn't even know. I thought there was like a drama over that, and I didn't think she did it, but maybe she didn't. Oh no, your opinions are more than welcome here. Um, did they have a reboot? Okay, everything we need to know about Zoe 101 reboot. Okay. The cast of Zoe 101 have been sparking rumors of a possible reboot, and now fans are hoping they're true. This was at the end of last year. Wait, no, this was 2020. While the cat, okay, so when was it supposed to come out? Let me see if I can find anything more up to date. Do you guys know if there was a reboot? It was only a music video though, never turned into an actual show. Yeah, I think iCarly did a reboot. I think that one did do a reboot. Let me see. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, so July 14th, 2021, which was, right at a year ago, it says that they were in talks for a reboot. I don't need this. I need you to go. Okay. So this was July 14th, 2021. Zoe 101 reboot everything the cast has said about bringing back the Nickelodeon show. There may be a trip back to the Pacific Coast Academy in the near future. Ever since Zoe 101 come to an end in 2018, fans have hoped for a reboot, and now that just might become a reality. Jamie, Victoria, Matthew, Paul, Sean, Aaron. Um, so there was a song. Follow Me, Jamie and Chantel released their remix version of the iconic song. So there was a song. In March 2021, Victoria addresses reboot rumors during an interview with Entertainment Tonight. To be honest with you, I really don't know much about it. I was hearing things about a reboot, but no one ever really talked to me specifically about it. So I don't really know what exactly is going on. But I mean, I love the cast, I love the show, but there's nothing official right now. So that was uh, last year. Um, so I'm not sure, you guys. There was a song that came out. Um, she is in Sweet Magnolia. Yeah. There, I know for sure there was one lady that refused to come back. One girl that refused to come back, and she spoke about how like Jamie Lynn was like mean to her and stuff like that. But anyways, you guys, I wanted to hop on here and just listen to that audio with you guys because I felt like it was really telling. It really, in my opinion, she really was confused like the whole time. Like I don't understand. Can you guys imagine be like your mom and your dad and your brother and your sister and you working your butt off to become this mega star and you put them in nice homes and give them the best life that money can buy, and then all of a sudden they're putting you in mental hospitals and you're asking why and you're crying, and they're just telling you don't fight it. If you do, we'll get you put there anyways. And this is your family. It's your family, your flesh and blood. If you can't, trust anybody to have your best interest at heart and to love you enough to take care of you and to shield you from abuse, um, who can you trust? And these were the people that was doing these things to her, and she was really confused as to I don't understand why these people that I've been so great to and worked so hard so they can have a great life too. Now they're doing this to me. It's just so devastating. Yes, her name was Alexa Nicholas. She is an activist now against the music industry. I know way too much about this. Yes, Sloan has a really good video out about her. Um, But anyways, you guys, I wanted to get on here and listen to this with you guys. I think I'm gonna do a hangout stream in just a little bit because I gotta put a new tat on because I'm going to a football game in a little bit. My son got a football game. Also, my husband came back a while ago, so I need to run in and check on him. Kennedy just got out of school. Um, but we're gonna do a hangout stream in about 15 minutes where I'm gonna do a new tattoo. We'll talk about some things and then we'll wrap it up for today because I gotta go to a football game. But you guys catch me back here in about 15 minutes. Also, this shirt, you guys, I got this. Someone sent this to me. It was on my Twitter. It was on my Amazon wish list. The link is actually in the description box below if you guys want to go grab you one because it is super comfy. I love it. If you guys want to go grab you one, there's a link in the description box below. I did set up an Amazon affiliate link. So if you go grab anything off my affiliate links, I think I get like a small commission. I really don't even know how it works. It's going to be an all hangout. It's not just going to be for the members. It's going to be for everyone. So catch me back here in about 15 minutes. You guys, let me your thoughts in the comment section below about this whole situation. Britney Spears finally speaking out about her life in the conservatorship. I hope we hear more clips. I hope she continues to do this and puts more and more out. I'm honestly so grateful that she is doing this on her own terms and not even going to like Oprah 2020. That way she can control the narrative the way that it needs to be. And it's only put out there the way that she wants it to be put out there. You guys give this video a thumbs up. Catch me back here in about 15 minutes, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.